Meth, what was Alfie like as a captain? Now that you have him in the same interview, you have to talk nice about him.
Yeah, no, I know. It's weird, Because I'm usually just like when we're talking, Wally, I'm always chatting away and I'm talking lots, but I got Alfie here. I just get kind of starstruck still. I think for me, just my experience playing in Ottawa when I came in there, obviously I knew who he was and well aware being an Ottawa guy coming in from Columbus, which was a much smaller market as far as exposure goes in Canada. So I see Alfie in practice. And I think one of the bigger takeaways for me was just his competitive nature and his passion for the game. So like I don't know, like pregame skate is usually just a skate around in the morning prior to a game on a game day. And, for me, being a stay-at-home D-man, it's pretty simple. I go out there, skate around a little bit, get a sweat, get off the ice right away, look forward to going home, playing video games for a bit of napping. But Alfie would stay out there. So you got this 40-year-old captain with like 13 kids. This guy had 3. And it's like, he's staying out there and he's working on his game and he's playing keep away with rookies and stuff. So it made you kind of feed off of that enthusiasm, right? Like you develop these good habits, and it definitely changed the way I approached preparing games. So I would go out there and I'd practice stuff. And then once in a while, Alfie would pull me aside and say, "Hey, Mark, on your reverses in the corner, try staying lower coming out of your turn when you're skating back up the ice." That was when I was more mobile before my knee injury. So there was a lot of random stuff like that he would do that you would feed off of. And I think for me, that was it. It was his competitive nature and his, ability to be passionate and care. And he was never sounding off on guys all the time. He was very composed. And I think, again, a calming presence, yet very competitive. And that's something that was my takeaway. I don't know if you want to touch on that, Wally.
Well, I'm curious then, Alfie, and by the way, when you're a broadcaster, you never use nicknames of players. And so for me to keep calling you Alfie is something completely different when I'm doing it in a broadcast. So, but I don't know your name any differently. We've always just ever called you Alfie. So there was always, I shouldn't say always, there's usually some problems behind the scenes that we never see in the locker room. So how do you handle those kinds of issues as a captain? Or do you feel that maybe perhaps that's above your pay grade and it should be handled by the organization?
Let me go one further on that, Wally. Let me go one further. So Alfie, I think like earlier in just before 2010, you guys had some wild teams, right? You guys were awesome, but you had a lot of guys that like to have fun and go out. And I think, I'd like to touch on Wally. How do you rein them in as a captain when you've got all these big personalities?
Well, it all matters to what do we want as a team? Do we want to have success? And I did. I took my career, my game seriously, and being the captain, my team's fate seriously as well. I think we grew a really good culture in early years. We had some good veterans, Randy Cunninworth, like hardworking people that I saw as well was around, and we kind of took that forward when we started getting better. That we worked extremely hard as a team, and we were extremely serious about what we wanted to do, and there wasn't a lot of partying going on. And if it was, we did party, but then we knew we had the green light. Yeah. So I think we set a good culture, and even going forward, 8 to 9, 10. I think sometimes when we were so good and then we fall off, it's tough for some guys to handle as well. The pressure changes. Everybody thinks you're better than you're performing, and you get a lot of criticism. And that's the toughest thing, I think, in pro sports is how do you handle that without, it's like the same mental health, self-medicate. You go out and you drink and you feel better for the day, but then the next day it all catches up to you anyway. So we've had a few issues with that, and that's, not something a captain would deal with directly. I would check with the player, but that would go up to management and hopefully find help and if that's needed, a solution. But as far as being a captain, I think I was very good at. There was only one thing I really demanded, and that was if you didn't give it your best, then I was not happy. But I was always good at understanding different players, what kind of players they are. Like I would never expect Mark, okay, Mark, we need you to go out and score 2 goals today. I would never tell him that because I don't think that would be You know, I think that would cause more anxiety than anything else. But
big time, big time anxiety.
But I knew Mark's ability that, you know, shutting down a guy. I know he's going to do that, so I don't have to be on him all the time. Or, you know, I think I could relate to everybody. If you're a fourth line checker or, you know, third line that's working to become top two line, or what do you want out of it? And I think I could evaluate and then, you know, help them out or push them no matter what their role was.
Yeah, I was going to say just before you go ahead there, Wally, like that was another big takeaway for me from Alf. He was pretty firm but very fair, and it was always balanced throughout the lineup. Like, it didn't matter if you were a guy that had been on the team or in the NHL for 15 years. Like, if there was an issue, he wouldn't really sugarcoat it. He would address it right away. And it was the same thing with the younger guys. But everybody was a little different, right? So yeah, he was really good at managing that. I feel like Alfie's not going to plug himself too much on here, but that's something, you know, takeaway that I had.